All right, so it's time for the meeting. I think we got a pretty good crowd here tonight. Um,
Yeah, I want to see if make sure that Wardell is on here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, great.
all right,
Good.
you're
I've
good.
made sure. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, we do have one order of, well, a couple of orders of business. John, can you throw your cheat sheet back up there again? John does this thing. He puts together a real nice little um, s- syllabus, I guess we could call it. I have it doodled out on a piece of paper here. He's got it looking official. Um, Saturday the 13th, which is next Saturday, the club is doing an outing in the park at Brook Run. Everybody mute. If you don't need to talk, mute a little bit and cut some of the noise. I know that was you, Rob. That's okay. Saturday, April 13th, we're having an outing in the park. It is the Georgia QSO Party weekend. The QSO Party hours are from 2 p.m. until midnight. That's 10 hours. We do not intend to operate for the entire 10 hours. We do intend to be up and running at 2 p.m. We'll probably run until it starts getting dark, say 6 or 7 or so, and pack up and leave. This is one of the things that we do not consider to be a contest. It's an event. Um, so we'll have a couple of radios up. We'll have a couple of antennas. Hugo came last year, and we actually put up, I think, 2 or 3 of his antennas to test them and use them during the day. No problem doing that. That's what we're there for. And like I say in the announcement, which I will post again tomorrow before I leave, if you've got a radio and you want to bring it, bring it. We'll get it on the air. If you've got an antenna you want to try, it has to be reasonable that we can put it in the park, but we'll put it up and give it a shot. And also, there's one guy I know is going to bring his ICOM 7100. We're going to have to put some power poles on it, fix the power cables and things, and get it on the air. If you're interested in his radio, come out and watch. If you just want to come out and hang out, that's fine. If you want to get on the radio with one of the others, don't have a radio, come on out and get on the radio. The whole idea is to have fun and get to meet some people face to face that you don't normally get to meet. I don't consider Zoom meetings face to face. I'm sorry. This is a distant second. So anyway, there you go. Somebody will be there about noon starting to set up, but the official event is at 2 o'clock, and you're welcome to come by for the whole thing or any part of it. The idea is to have fun. Tomorrow, Friday the 5th, we are looking for a new lunch location and we're auditioning different restaurants. So tomorrow we're going to try Los Bravos restaurant. It was suggested by one of our members who comes to Friday lunch. He says he eats lunch there. I've had dinner there. I've eaten lunch there twice. The food is pretty good. The service is fairly quick. The waiters are all friendly. I've had, I think, 3 different waiters, and they've all been good. This is a site that we may actually stick with for a while if everybody likes it. So y'all see the address there. It's at 2042 Johnson Ferry Road. That's right at the intersection of Johnson Ferry and Ashford Dunwoody, right across from Blackburn Park, right there in that area. And that Amoco station at the corner, if y'all remember, is sort of it was sort of infamous in the Atlanta area for a long time. So don't stop at the Amoco station or at the American station, whatever. I think they've changed their name now, Rob. I don't think it's the same service station anymore. Anyway, do come out for lunch and let us know what you think of the place. If you like it, it becomes permanent. If not, we'll eat there every couple of weeks and try something else. All right. And last order of business, and this is one that we're still working on. We had some issues with insurance at the Bank of America building in downtown, where the repeater has been since 1992. I was hoping that I could announce tonight that we had come to a firm decision on what to do with it. I can't. It seems like every time we look at this thing, there's a little something else pops up. John has done a fantastic job dealing with the Bank of America people and the managers up there. They have waived some of the conditions that they have put on corporate entities. Where I think they don't quite understand who we are, but they have been cooperative. There has been some wiggle room. Hopefully by the end of this coming week, by next Friday, we can be able to make an announcement one way or the other on what we're doing. For the time being, nothing changes. So keep an eye on the groups.io, and we will certainly have an update in the next meeting for sure. That really is all the business I have to throw out. John, have you got anything you want to throw in about anything?
No, I think Ed Henderson's on here somewhere, and I think he had something he wanted to bring up real quick.
Okay, Ed, go ahead.
I want to say I attended a tech session last month. I think it was the 10th, and it was great. Really, the reason I wanted to talk was just to make a quick announcement. The Northeast Georgia Council Boy Scouts of America has a annual show out at Gwinnett Fairgrounds. It's been called a number of different names, but an event where all the scouts from the local area come together and they set up activities that they do together, and they have a car show and they do their Pinewood Derby races and all kind of stuff. And we're doing a ham radio exhibit, and so I wanted to invite anyone from the club who wants to come out and share some of their hobby to please do so. I've got at least space for 3 clubs to set up with a pop-up. I will have you a table, and I will have you power, and I'll have an antenna area set up that we'll all be sharing. It won't be huge, but if some of you wanted to come out and bring the club banner and bring a pop-up, I will make sure there's space for it. If you just want to come on your own, then please do. I'd like for you to bring your POTA rig, your Go boxes, whatever you would like to show off that to help would get these scouts interested in ham radio and try and get some of them on the air. So I know I've got 3 or 4 people from a couple of different clubs that said they want to come out. And if you would like to come out, please email me, and I'll put my email address in the chat. And if you don't have it, or if you can't get it from the chat, call John. John has my email address, and he can get in touch with me. If you will commit to having an official club set up with banner and a pop-up, then I will make sure there is space for it. So that's April the 20th. It's a Saturday. Setup starts at 7:30 in the morning, and then the event starts at 9, and then it runs till about 3 in the afternoon. And we're going to be doing that all day. We're going to have a fox hunt for the scouts to take part in, and we just want to really show them about the hobby and get them interested and get them on the air.
So April 20th, and setup is at 7:30 a.m.
Yes, it is.
in Gwinnett County Fairgrounds.
Gwinnett County Fairgrounds.
I'm
And
look,
if you come early to set up and come through the back gate, it's I guess you would say it's behind the animal barns and the big arena. Come into that back gate, you can get in early. If you go through the front gate at 9 or later, they will want an admission fee, which is $5 a person. Or if you want to bring a group, you can get a camp card for $10. It'll get in up to 4 people. But if you come early to set up, then I don't think you'll have to worry about that. Just come into the back. They'll let you pull your vehicle in, and just tell them you're there to set up for an exhibit. But yeah, email me. I'm gonna put my email address down here in the chat, and let me know if you'd like to come, because I really like to have as much as we can have to show these scouts what we enjoy.
well, I think the radio club would like to do it for sure. Atlanta Radio Club would, and in addition to that, I wouldn't have any problem at all bringing one of my portable setups. You know,
Right.
the people laugh because I got everything in a box, but it all is in one box.
All right. Well, if you would like to come, definitely, there are concessions available. You can bring your own lunch and drinks. I will have a big cooler of drinks for all the ham radio volunteers and presenters, just as my thank you for coming out for the day. But the scouts will be out there. They'll be cooking, and I won't promise the quality of what they're cooking, but they're going to be out there sharing their skills or lack of for you to sample. And they'll be doing lots of fun activities outside. They'll have, like I said, they'll have their Pinewood Derby races and all that stuff going on.
So April the 20th is a Saturday, so even if the food is very subpar, we got a day to recover before work, right?
Right.
Yeah, I certainly would like to, and maybe we can do something for the club. I certainly would like to come out and set up something and just talk to you. I do the Boy Scouts up in Western North Carolina as well. Edwin.henderson@outlook.com. Edwin, I'll send you a message after the meeting.
I put a link up there to the Scout Show flyer if you want to know a little more about it.
Cool. Okay. Okay. Anybody else got any announcements they want to do before we hand it over to Rob to do his presenter stuff? Going once?
I really don't have anything to report on the repeaters.
Okay. Oh, okay. That was it. Okay, I got it. I thought you were going to formally report nothing. That's fine. Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, everything seems to be working. My only problem is I can't hit the repeater of my house anymore, which is I miss talking on a repeater. All right, going once, twice. All right, Rob, take it away and do your host ceremonies thing.
Yeah, my thing over here.
Oh, you always do a good thing, Rob. You know that. Come on.
Maybe something. Um, yeah, I just want to say we have a great speaker tonight. I know in a couple of emails that I put out, the time was wrong or the date was wrong, and what I didn't tell you was I spelled his name wrong, and that's all fixed. And he's here, so hopefully everybody got the email, everybody understood the email, and people who wanted to attend are are here today and not on May 4th. So we're going to be talking about AI today. AI is in the news all over the place. Good AI, bad AI. And if you read you read the email that I sent announcing the meeting, that whole email was written with ChatGPT. I wrote it like I normally do, and I looked at it and go, yeah, this looks as bad as I normally write. So I just wrote to ChatGPT, please clean this up, and I put a much better version. It sort of got all the facts from my version and then put one out decently. So anyway, let me turn it over to our guest speaker, Wardell Castles with an S at the end. And he is N4YWH. So without further ado, over to you, Wardell.
All right. Well, thank you guys and everybody for inviting me to make this presentation. It's to start off, I want to make sure everybody understands that AI is a general term. It's a broad term. There's a lot of different types of AI. There's image recognition, there's voice recognition, and there are chatbots like ChatGPT, which is a general knowledge information chatbot. There are chatbots that specialize in medicine and types of medicine. Chatbots. Websites down. Yes. I'm sorry, Nick, what'd you say? Oh, okay. Anyway, and there's lawyer ones, all kinds. So anyway, I'm going to show my screen here. And if the host has disabled participant screen sharing. So if the host could enable that, that would be good.
This should be working.
I click on share screen, it says host disable participant screen sharing.
Try again.
Please stand by. There we go. All right, so let me click here and go to share. And hold on a second. Need to move this over. All right, so I guess everybody can see here, this is the screen into ChatGPT. The basic technology behind ChatGPT, I told him, I need to share my screen differently. Hold on just a second. How would stop share? Okay, share screen again. And this time, I want to share my desktop. Where's my desktop? This is probably it. Well, if all else fails, I'll ask ChatGPT how to do it. All right, I'll just stick with this. Okay, so basically here we have the screen after I've logged into ChatGPT. there are two, the basic technology behind ChatGPT and other chatbots is this thing called large language models, LLMs. And LLMs, you can think of them, I'm really stretching the analogy here, as being a neural network database. And there are the main components of a neural network database are these things called nodes, which, for a lack of a better metaphor, sort of corresponds to neurons in a brain. And then there are paths in between these nodes, like there are in animal brains. But that analogy falls. I mean, there's no consciousness. There's nothing sentient about the large language model behind ChatGPT or any of these large language models. The number of nodes / neurons in the ChatGPT large language model is roughly estimated to be like 100 trillion nodes. And you will sometimes describe here a large language model as having so many parameters. Well, parameters is another word for nodes. So if you hear a large language model having X number of parameters, that's roughly telling you the size of the large language model. The GPT in ChatGPT, or any GPT, stands for the words generative, the piece escapes me. Hold a second. Generative pre-trained transformers. And you have to know a lot about data science to understand what that means. But basically, these chatbots, GPT chatbots are doing predictive text based upon the context of what was entered into the, for example, in ChatGPT, this little box here. So I'm going to start off this by asking ChatGPT to act like a amateur radio Elmer. And let's just see what, act like a radio amateur. I'll spell it right eventually. I still didn't do it. It comes back and I assume you guys can read this. It's basically telling a little bit about what it means to be a ham radio operator. It talks about choosing equipment, making contacts, joining a community, continuous learning. And then it says, okay, I'm here to answer any questions you might have and help you navigate any challenges you have that you encountered. So what's on your mind? Then I'm going to say, pretend I am let's say Cub Scout. What is ham radio? And it goes on and explains it's being part of a global club. This would be something like maybe a young person would ask about what ham radio is all about. And as you can see, it's very talkative. It's very talkative. Now, what's different between a ChatGPT and, for example, a Google search is that a Google search will just give you a bunch of links and there's no context after that. Whereas these chatbots like ChatGPT retain context as to what you're talking about. So, for example, I might want to know more, tell me more about joining a team. At no time will my fingers leave my hands.
If nobody was watching, you'd be typing that perfectly.
So it's saying to joining a team in the world of amateur radio is like joining a club. So it knows we're talking about it, and I use the word knows in quotes, that we're talking about ham radios. Oh, it talks about emergency communications, making global friends. Finding a ham radio club is easy. Do I need a license? Ah, yes, you do. And why do you need a license? Because FCC will fuss at you if you don't have one, assuming they catch you. Tells you to study. There's practice exams. Find an exam session. Take the exam. Receive your call sign. What are the different classes of license? Goes into technician, privileges, general class, and extra class. And why you should upgrade. And it always gives you a nice little summary at the end. And it says, okay, I can say, well, my friend's dad, oops, sorry. My friend, let's just say mom, has an advanced license. What is that? Which is, by the way, what I have. I was grandfathered in. So it talks about the advanced class. Let's see. Can I talk to people in Europe with EUROPE? I spelled it right. With a technician's license. And explains, yeah, you can, but you're probably going to do it on 10 meters. Or you could do VHF via satellite. I know some hams consider Echolink cheating, but I get a big kick out of it.
Yeah, there's the 10 meters. That's good.
Yeah, I talked to people I talked to a ham in Perth, Australia the other night on Echolink. Anyway, okay, what was I going to ask them? What would be my next question? What is a repeater? It's a powerful friend in the world of amateur radio.
So where is it coming up with the captions like the one right above that? It almost like it's quoting something.
Yeah, that's a good question. ChatGPT, which is a LLM or service offered by a company called OpenAI, which I'm sure you may have known is in the been in the news recently,
Right.
For copyright infringement. I think Disney is suing them, et cetera, et cetera. But because, and that's another criticism of OpenAI, the company that has ChatGPT, is it's no longer open, it's proprietary. So I don't know where it's getting it from, but if you believe everything that they're telling you, that there's nothing that's really been scraped and copied and pasted. And how it comes up with these headings like fun fact, accessing a repeater.
Yeah, the magic of repeaters is what it caught my eyes.
Yeah, the magic of repeaters, overcome obstacles.
And that's where generative AI comes in. It takes the facts that it's got and it actually generates new combinations of them. And
yeah. Basically, what is, as I understand it, they have scraped this model ChatGPT 4 is as of April of 2023. There's an older model ChatGPT 3.5, which is a year old, active as of April 2002. Another thing too, you need to make sure everybody understands that ChatGPT can make mistakes. Consider checking important information. So you never do anything life-threatening or dangerous based upon your output. Okay. But you know,
I have a comment. This afternoon, I was Googling and found that ChatGPT only got a 70 on the extra exam. And the reason was, ChatGPT is great at assembling beautiful language, but he's not very good at checking facts and the accuracy of facts, because under the current system, there's no way for him to do that well. Would you like to comment on that one?
Yes, I would. In fact, what we're going to do right after we get through, actually, let me just finish up with here. Then I'm going to actually go into another session with ChatGPT, and I'm going to ask it questions that I got off of a sample extra exam, and we'll see how it does.
All right, and I'll shoot you the link that I was looking to this afternoon privately.
Yeah, I would. Oh, yeah. All right, I would love that. That'd be great. Okay, so I'm going to just end this little chat here. Radio Amateur Elmer, there you go. And I'm going to start a new chat. I'm going to tell it, pretend you're now a Ham ELMER. I am going to ask you questions that might appear on the extra class exam. Yeah, sure. Go ahead and ask me. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna. All right. So here's something a little bit more challenging than tell me a little bit. I'm copying and pasting this. Hold on a second. Control C. I got this from a sample question for an extra exam. And I'm going to have to leave it up to you guys. This is way above my pay grade. I'll scroll up in case you can. Why are odd order rather than even order intermodulation distortion products of concern in linear power amplifiers? I understand each word individually, but not placed in that order. So
yeah, the power's higher on the odd one.
And this is basically its response. Basically, in this summary, it's saying, but because of all these reasons, managing and minimizing the odd order intermodulation distortion is crucial in the design and operation of linear power amplifiers. Anybody have any comments on the accuracy of that? Frequency, proximity to desired signals, amplitude in relation to the original signals.
I seem to remember that question on the exam when I took it years ago. There was something about that, but I don't remember what the answer was. I just memorized the answer. I wasn't going to be building any amplifiers anytime
There you
soon,
go.
so
There you go.
I wasn't concerned with it.
Tell me more about regulatory. Oops. Concerns. It's thinking. There you go. Spectrum management is a concern. Interference. Compliance with technical standards. There you go. So let me try another. Let me grab this question here, see what it says. What happens as the Q of an antenna increases? It recognizes Q as meaning quality factor. But as you can see, it's very verbose. I would consider it verbose. And it's context. It remembers the context that we're talking about. If anybody has any questions they would like for me to ask it, put it in the chat. In fact, I think it was Hugo sent me a, was it Hugo you that sent me a question? What does the following data use for APRS network to communicate? I mean, it understands APRS as being automatic packet reporting system. So it's kind of interesting, though. You said that it only got a 70 on the extra exam. That's kind of interesting.
But it passed the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a passing grade.
Let me pass the legal bar exam together.
Time step.
Well, the smart thing is just put enough work in to pass and don't worry about passing with flying colors.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was actually smarter.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a fun one. Oops. What HF amateur bands have frequencies authorized for space stations? See, it tells it now, the last update, April 2023. Do we have any hams in the ISS now?
We do. They're all, at least 3 of them.
Oh, good.
I left a question for you in the chat.
All right. Oh, okay. Let me go find it. I gotta find where's the chat. Doing that more. Trying to find. There's a chat. Woo.
Let's throw another one in there.
There you go. That Rob asked. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. There you go. I asked using. Here we go. In this question here, I don't even understand each word individually. So.
Where did that come from?
So Hugo, what do you have any impression or comment on the response that it gave? That it is giving? Can you tell ChatGPT the same question, but tell it to get the answers from the FCC question pool? That is a good question.
Yeah, that's a Bob question.
The same, but can you get the answers? All right, shut up. There you go. Please answer that from the FCC question pool.
Did ask which one, the July one or the one before then? Yeah, it says the question pool is general and wouldn't be about.
Yeah.
It's a device and
Scroll up here.
good.
Especially regarding the important to clarify that the FCC focus on concepts, regulations, and safety practice rather than specific procedures.
That's a cop out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they did get the RTFM comment in the other answer.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you have to RTFM. All right. I mean, I can sit here and ask it some more questions, or you guys can, if you want me to carry on with this. Oh, one thing I was going to do before we left, though. Here we go. This always blows my mind. Oops, almost like I need to get something out of the way. So in addition to being a Ham ELMER, I'm going to ask it to create a NetLogger application in Python with a graphical user interface. It needs to record the call sign, name, location, and power supply.
Oh my.
There you go. And I've actually copied and pasted this program to my desktop and run it, and it runs. And not only does it do that, it explains what it's doing.
Does it explain through comment lines?
Yep. No, I don't, yeah, well, sort of. Get the data from entries and then add it to the list box. This is the creation of the list box, button to add the entry. So yeah, it's commented code, but it also explains down in here what it's doing too, or it used to anyway.
Does it look like the code makes sense and is a good way to go to solve the problem?
Yeah. It's been my experience that the generated code is not ready for prime time and other things that I have asked it. Now here's the fun part. Convert to COBOL. Oh, it's saying that there you go. There's your COBOL program for NetLogger. And you can tell it to convert to C# or any other. I've had it convert to languages. I've just been playing around with it. But anyway, that's so not only is it a Ham ELMER, but it's also a programmer of sorts.
How do you do an accuracy check that the ELMER is talking to you and giving you correct information?
You don't. That's why this bottom line down. Oh, well, you do. Well, when it writes a program, you test the program to make sure it operates as it wants to. But how do you check information? You ask people, you ask humans in an amateur radio club like the Atlanta Radio Club, what if that makes sense to you, to them? So, you
Are
know,
are they even going to answer you if you said, "Oh, Chat GPT said this"? Are they just going to roll their eyes and say, "Really"?
entirely possible,
Yeah.
entirely possible.
One other thing to mention about when you're testing programming or doing programs with chat, you can submit your code to chat and it can evaluate and give you hints
Yes.
on debugging, which is kind of nice. I've done a little bit of toying around with Arduino code and some Python code with it. And I have a friend that actually uses it for his business. And he says that you can count on chat putting the framework together, but you definitely need to pay real attention to the details and critique it because it may not get the whole thing right. But
Right.
he says it's really good building an initial structure, which saves you a lot of time.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I mean, it would have taken me maybe 30 minutes to an hour to write this code. And but I'm not an expert Python programmer either. So, like I said, you need to, I would never do anything life-threatening or dangerous to any living entity based upon based upon answers from ChatGPT or any. Now, I'm going to try, there is a, hold on a second. I'm going to stop sharing and try to share something else. Hold on just a second. Okay, stop share. Thank you. I'm going to minimize this. Oh, can't minimize that. I have to open this. Okay, sure. All right. So I'm going to share screen again and go here and share. Okay. So I'm in my web browser here. There is a website called Hugging Face. Is anybody familiar with Hugging Face? Hugging Face is a repository of a whole bunch of large language models. In fact, over 500,000 of them. All public domain, free for people to use. And you can see there's specialties in the LLMs here. There's depth, there's multimodal, whatever that means, image, text to text. You can download these things and play with them. They're all free domains. But this is just
What do you download them to?
your PC.
Yeah, but what I mean is, what app do you use to run the model?
Well, that I think you have to go now to maybe these data sets. There's another one I know of that I've actually used. I haven't actually done any of these. There's another website called ChatGPT for all, except you have to spell ChatGPT with one T. Stop it. Come on. Oh, and I have to do it right again. I tell you. Chat. And I would like to say just my typing's that bad because you guys are watching, but that's not really the case. It's really bad all over the place. Come on, you can come back up. No, I guess that's not it. Hold on. Chat GPT. Okay, Google for it. GPT for all. There it is. No, that's not it. Oh, it's just GPT for all.
GPT for all.
Yeah. Here you can download the for the Windows OS X or the Linux installer, and you can choose. This will give you the interface like ChatGPT is, and you can choose from the large language models that it uses. Again, all free, and no graphical interface is required. Even though now I have to admit I have done this, and the response is not nearly as fast as it is with OpenAI's ChatGPT. Let me just do this just for, if we got time, let me just go ahead and install this.
So it says no GPU required, but what if you want the higher speed of a GPU?
Good question. It'll probably, yeah, shut up. It's on my desktop somewhere. Hold on a second. Here we go. Well, Windows won't let me run it. I probably have to turn off my protection. I don't know why it wouldn't let me run it. It says it's not safe. GPT for all. There we go. Yeah. I guess it would depend on whether the application recognized the GPU and kicked it in. In fact, if I remember correctly, it was using my GPU. I just don't have a very powerful one.
I looked up something that the large models that you just did gave me an idea. It was resistor color codes, and I found there's an AI resistor color code detection out there that looks at the resistor and tells you what it is. That's nice.
I'm going to try to grab this. Okay, going back to what LLMs are technically, in this basically, you know, like I like to tell people, an LLM is like a neural network database, even though it, again, that's a very poor analogy. These individual things here are called nodes, and LLMs have these nodes within layers. There's an input layer that starts where for example, on a ChatGPT is accepting the sentence that you typed in, and then based upon probabilities of what the next word or and technically it's the next token. It doesn't break it up into words; it breaks it up into tokens. It goes down to another layer, from layer, another layer to another layer to another layer, and then out to the output. And like I was saying, it is rumored that the ChatGPT-4 engine has about 100 trillion of these nodes here, and heaven only knows how many layers before it gets out to the end. It requires a tremendous amount of computing process to build a general knowledge LLM, and which is probably the reason, or one of the reasons, that Microsoft, I think, owns like 49% of OpenAI, because they're using the Microsoft servers to do the training on the LLM itself.
Michelle just posted a Reddit on chat where it's an amateur ChatGPT takes the extra license exam.
Oh, okay, okay.
Reddit. I put one in there earlier. Just I had a rewrite. It said rewrite this. Ham radio is fun and used by nerds. And it did a good job. And Bill did it on Bard, and Bard put out it put out more. Bard was.
Oh, this is funny. It has scored 70% on the extra license exam. So what's passing?
I think 75, isn't it 76, somewhere in there?
What is it, Bob? Bob knows.
Rob?
I know, I'm a VE, I'm supposed to know this thing.
Yeah, ask
do
the
bel-
AI.
I do
Yeah,
believe
76.
no
76.
76. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
but
good
the,
question. I
but the
love
issue,
those. Here are
but
some of the
the
50, but
yeah.
it's completely wrong. Sometimes I've been explaining its wrong answer. Okay, now that's freaking dangerous. Sometimes.
Hey,
I
check and
love
see
that.
if ChatGPT knows how many questions it needs to answer to pass.
All right.
But again, Chat GPT does not distinguish facts from fiction very well. He has no way of doing that. So I think that's part of his problem.
They call that a constructive error.
There you go.
No,
Oh yeah,
seriously. No,
how do you
seriously, that's what it's called, a constructive error
well
or
when facts are oh I'm sorry.
or
Go
constructive
ahead.
mistake. I'm sorry.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is when facts are so much determined by the context of the sentence, how do you determine that that fact is correct or inaccurate?
Yeah.
He hasn't figured that one out yet.
Uh-oh, it says 74.
Yeah. Well, let's consider checking important information.
Passing score is 37 out of 50 questions.
Yeah, that's 74%. All right.
That's not right. That's not correct.
What is it? 30?
I want to say I think it's 36 or 38. It's up there.
Well,
Rob, where are you? I just
I
wrote a
know,
very
I'm
wonderful.
I'm looking.
why don't you Google it?
Yeah, that's, um, Bill can ask Bard and see what it says.
Yeah. Bard's another one, another large language model. I think Google owns that. I think that's Google.
Yeah, I'm looking at ARRL. I figured it'd be on their top page.
How many
I think
questions?
I think they use an AI to design the ARRL website. We can't figure it out.
Passing score of 74% is required for all exams.
Yeah,
I don't believe that's true.
It's on
That's
Ham
what-
Radio Prep, and
it's on ARL as well.
yeah. So if you fail the test, Michelle, because you didn't get 76, you need to go back and have them award that.
Yeah, really.
So is it 50 questions in? Is it right about the total number of questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes, that's correct. 35 is technician and general.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
But I will tell you, just as an aside, I vastly prefer the Lauren approach to VEC management versus what the ARRL does. And that's an offline discussion, but it's a dramatic difference. And I'll discuss it with Rob later on.
Uh-oh. My phone's broken.
All right. I was in trouble. So notice this meeting is being recorded. Is there any way I can get a copy of it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you just go to YouTube.
Oh, really? Are
Yeah,
you
it'll be the
serious?
Atlanta Radio Club group on YouTube.
Okay, perfect.
But-
Because my partner, she wanted to see what this was all about. She doesn't quite understand the relationship, and I don't think we do either. For the most part, understand ChatGPT and ham radio.
Well, don't you think, should we ask ChatGPT that exact question?
Yes.
Well, I tried using Chat 2 days ago at work to review some industrial equipment, a comparison between two different modules that were similar. They're both computer modules, but they're computer modules that don't have a lot of features to them. And I asked Chat about them. I gave him the model numbers and everything. It acted like it knew what it was talking about. It talked generally, and he made it sound like these were microcontrollers. It was talking about might have a spy bus, might have this, might have that. It was completely guessing. It was completely guessing at the details. I would have rather it said, "I'm sorry, I don't know."
Well, it's like we come back here. It explained its wrong answer. I'm telling you, that freaks me out right there.
I guess that's what you can do is every time you get something wrong, you feed it back and say, this is wrong. Can you correct it?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is GPT chat only remembers what it does in that token. It's not, they don't commit what you teach it to memory.
Ah,
Oh,
It's not a continuously learning machine. It only, this chat's only good till 2023.
right.
It's not going to learn more. That's the problem with this kind of AI.
Exactly.
It doesn't learn from its mistakes. The only way it learns from its mistakes is if the programmers get involved.
That makes sense. Yeah, otherwise well, that actually kind of makes sense. Otherwise, people like who had less than ideal intentions could mark everything as wrong.
You like Wiki?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a wiki editor. Yeah. But anyway, I got I put another one in there. So I got the rewrite ham radio is fun and used by nerds, and it did a good job on that. And then I did how do you go into digital mode on a Yaesu FT991A? And it answered that.
Oh, wow.
you didn't answer it correctly?
I don't have a 991. It did. So you look, it had all the terms in there and buttons, and then I put in why doesn't the ARRL have more members? And it came up with something on that. And how do we get more hams in a club? And it had some good ideas for that. All kinds of different things.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's a good one. Yeah, we should have open events. We should have licensing classes, engage with school. That's a good answer.
Yeah, and also things like scout meetings and stuff.
We're doing those things.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Some of those things.
Because we need some young blood in this hobby. I guess do you guys well, let me ask you a loaded question. Do you consider it a hobby or a pursuit or what?
Don't get me started on that one. I hate the word hobby
Okay.
because it's ham radio. If we're going to try and take it to schools or to libraries and have programs to reach out to the population, you can't get grants and foundation funding for hobbies. You can get it for avocations. I always refer to the ham radio experience, the ham radio adventure, things on that order. But there are people who view it as a hobby, and they just get on the radio and they blab and chew rag with their friends. But for many of us who want to be involved in emergency communications or do different types of things, it's far, far more important than a hobby. And using hobby disparages it for everyone. And so I can go on. I feel very, very strongly about this, that ham radio is an entirely too valuable experience to be termed a hobby. And it's the most cost-effective, time-effective way of learning a whole rash of wonderful skills, electronics, communications, radio for marine, aeronautics. This troubleshooting, project management. There are a zillion different things you learn from ham radio that can really, really help you if you're a young one in a future career. And I think that's another thing we need to track is what the experiences of young people, and they go out and try and get jobs, how ham radio has helped them. And I think we'll find it's really been very, very rewarding and helpful to students. But we need to be able to get that information and share it. Okay, I'm stop blabbing.
Stuff. Many hobbies teach.
I agree with you.
Learn from hobbies.
I'm sorry?
Hobbies you learn from. I'm in a robotics club, which is a hobby. I'm an engineer, but I do it to expand my knowledge beyond what I do at work. Hobby's not a dirty word.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, but I'm going to disagree with that. I think robotics is a fun adventure. It's a fascinating undertaking. It's an avocation. It's extraordinarily important to have in schools, so young ones and their parents and their siblings can learn about electronics and all the things that robotics
and that's what we share with people. Us engineers in the club, just like in ham radio, engineers there share their knowledge on the engineering side with other hams.
Right, right,
And
true.
we're helping to teach other people something they didn't get, may not have gotten in school because they didn't pursue that avenue.
Right. You're sharing valuable skills, knowledge, and expertise. And that's what it's all about. And it's to me, a hobby is crocheting or knitting, something that is of satisfaction to the individual who's doing it only. And I think what we're doing.
That used to clothe people. Knitting used to put clothes on people's backs.
Yeah.
Right, but now it's okay. It's not something that is helping the world at large, and I think ham radio can and is as far as the STEM education aspects. And I don't want to dominate the conversation with this, but we will have to get together offline. But yes, I think it's wrong to refer to robotics as a hobby. I think it's an adventure. It's a fun undertaking. It's a wonderful experience.
I agree with you, Michelle.
Thank you. I'll shut up now.
So what other $64,000 question can I ask?
Why do we love I'm sorry, Laurel's program for VEC over ARRLs? We'll deal with that another night.
Okay.
The answer is it's free, right? So, yeah.
No, it's much more important than that. We'll deal with it offline.
Okay. I'm a Laurel VE, so.
Oh, you are? Who's this?
It's Rob.
Rob. Oh, Rob. Yes. Well, you saw the email I sent you, right?
Today?
I have very, very high appreciation for the Laurel approach. We'll just leave it that way. I think you're excellent and do a fantastic job.
Laurel, thank you. Yeah, I did number 8 on this thing where it says offer varied programming. Trying to get that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, does anybody have any good question, challenging? Anybody want to challenge it with something? Give it something good.
I just asked it if ham radio is a hobby. I'm just
What did it say?
Yes,
Yeah.
ham radio, also known as amateur radio, is indeed a hobby for many people around the world. It involves the use of radio frequency spectrum, talks all about communication, technical, but it's also saying what you said.
Well, that's what Michelle said. Yeah, technical experimentation, emergency services. Yeah.
Right. And if we want to get grant funding for programs in public libraries and schools, public libraries are great because you get all the you get the families in, you get the parents, you can have the younger siblings and get them involved and make it broad so they're learning electronics as well. That then you can get funding from a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, but they're not going to fund a hobby. They're going to fund a STEM program that involves ham radio. And I think that that's the way to go. And it's so long as we keep talking, yes, it's a hobby for some people, but they're not interested in doing anything sophisticated or trying to help the world.
Right.
And that's the difference. Are we trying to make the world a better place?
A lot of people in hobbies do sophisticated stuff. Hams are a perfect example.
I think Michelle's actually hitting at a marketing point here where
I understand
if you call it a hobby, it diminishes it. And I agree with
her. On funding.
No, I agree with her.
Right. Yeah. And if we want to get foundation funding to take our message to a broader audience, we need to change our language a bit. Oh, thank you, Bill. And let's change the subject, go on to something else.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Laureate, right, who wrote FT8, so that's more than a hobby. So yeah, I think this thing's does all kinds of different things on different subjects, and say I had it rewrite the email that I sent out to everybody. If it was really smart, it would have told me that I got the wrong date, but it did not know.
No, it didn't tell you had the wrong date, did it?
No, I wish it did.
Oh, right.
Michelle had to call me and tell me.
Right.
Yeah, I did. I called Rob.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Here's a question you ask it. Ask it what percentage of eclipse will be going on in Atlanta. Seen in Atlanta?
Destroying our eyes.
Probably going to say I don't have that date because this is April of 2023.
Oh.
There you go.
There you go.
84
81.84.
or 81, yeah.
Yeah, look. Well, that's good to know.
All right, I'll be honest with you here. I'm kind of cheating because in the other window I'm running the AI formerly known as Bard,
Okay.
AIFKB, I guess we could call it. And
Nothing wrong.
I typed in exactly the same question. You said the eclipse seen in Atlanta. I put April the 8th, and it looks to me like the paragraph you got is the third paragraph I got word for word.
Interesting.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Word for word. The shape of the paragraph's even the same on the
Oh,
screen.
whoa.
Ah.
The Bard's
So they
wordy.
Well, that's not to be, but it gave you like three paragraphs of answers.
No, I just said, what is the percentage eclipse from Atlanta on April the 8th?
You said it gave three. It came out with three paragraphs.
Well, this first one says Atlanta will experience a deep partial eclipse. That's the first one. Second one says 81.8%. That's a bullet point. And then the third paragraph is identical to the one you have on the screen. I mean, down to the shape of the paragraph.
Wow.
Oh, are they
Well,
competing or are they plagiarizing?
I just wonder if I'm typing into the AI formerly known as Bard and it's just not framing the request and sending it off to chat.
Could be. Could be.
That'd
Yeah,
be
or
a
that
they
cheap
sounds
check,
right.
be a
they
cheap way to
study
do it.
from the same source. You know, the internet's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, the answers.
Yeah, but that's kind of interesting though that it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
I
Well,
gave it a.
there is one difference. There is one difference. On the 421 on the time, both times, it doesn't have EDT. It just has 3:04 p.m. and 4:21 p.m. No EDT.
Ah, okay. Huh.
Well, I guess we are saving daylight now, right?
Uh,
Well, the Bard's smarter. It knew that you were in EDT, so it didn't have to say it.
Or maybe it was even smarter and realized that I don't like any of that crap. I
That's like
always I always say that, whatever happens in Eastern time as God intended.
there you go.
Yeah, Eastern time is that everybody else is derivative of that.
I
So,
put in one that said, "Is AI dangerous to mankind?" And ChatGPT answered something about, "Don't ask me. It's whatever the programmers did."
Yeah,
so Michelle,
That's
didn't
very
Siri used to come back with some kind of smart answer? Like we'll tell you when we take over or something? Or was it Google?
Siri
yeah.
will tell you, I heard that.
Yeah. Michelle, you were mentioning something about part of amateur radio is emergency services. Are you a member of DeKalb Aries?
Right now I'm up in New York, and I'm being treated for a little melanoma, so I have to kind of get things wound up here. I will go back and forth. I have a house in Atlanta. The answer to that is no. I am a ham that has less than 2 years. I'm 2 years less than 2 years experience, and my first year, unfortunately, was largely wasted. So just now I'm with a different club, and they are very oriented towards emergency and disaster actions. A lot in Suffolk County, to some extent Nassau County on Long Island. So I'll be learning with the best folks and be prepared to do something. I just wanted, if it all hits the fan, I wanted to be able to walk in with radios and be able to set up a communication center and be an asset rather than just being lost in the crowd.
Okay.
And that's why I'm doing it. But I love radio. I love my little radios. I love my little two VX6Rs. And just to me, I just something I wanted to do since I was little, and I'm just thrilled. I love radios and communications, the whole thing.
Do you plan on coming back to the Atlanta area?
Well, I have a house down there. Yes, I'll go back and forth. And I
Okay.
keep hoping that Biden will put in some sort of high-speed train between New York and
Oh, wow.
Atlanta.
Wow. Good luck with that. Well, there's Amtrak.
Hey, Bill,
So I could just,
I put a question that says, how fast can Bill put up an antenna in the park? And
With or without help, you got to qualify that.
and you have to, with or
Yeah, help
without
slows them
trees,
down.
with or without
depends if
trees.
Arnold's there.
How well does he do without trees?
Yeah,
Yeah,
see,
right.
now they're sucking you into an inside joke here. I say that I could put one up in 20 minutes by myself, 40 minutes if Arnold helps me.
We've seen that. That's right.
Well,
Well,
He actually has a pusher pole last time.
Pusher
Was that your pole?
pole?
That antenna you pushed up. That
Oh,
40,
yeah. That's in case I don't have a tree like Michelle just suggested.
right.
Okay, now what kind of pole is this? Can you give me the brand name? I may need one.
I'll send you the link to it after the meeting. Matter of
Okay,
fact, I'll
sounds
send you the
good.
pictures of it.
Okay. Because again, in a disaster situation, you may not have trees around, or you may not want to go out in winds and rain that are, 135 miles an hour. You have to find a place to get your antenna up under very adverse
Okay.
circumstances.
Yeah,
So those are the things I'm thinking about.
we're kind of getting away from the meeting here, but
Shirley, I'm sorry.
you wouldn't put this pole up in 100-mile-an-hour wind. I got it mainly to put up on top of Buck Bald, where the ground is about 3 inches thick and there's no
Okay,
trees.
great, good. Well, again, sorry, that's off topic. I
Yep.
apologize.
Yeah.
What else we got? Who else has got questions? This has been a really good presentation. Who else has some more questions here? If not specific questions to ask the machine, questions to ask the presenter.
Oh, don't ask me anything. Just
Okay.
kidding.
You're the
No,
expert.
Oh, okay. We're in trouble then. Like I say, when I was consulting in IT, I would say, I'm not the best there is, but I'm the best you have.
That's what I used to say.
Okay.
That's exactly what I used to say.
I do have a question. You said that the programming essentially was packaged in 2023. What are the plans for the future, and how will it evolve? And how does that 2023 limitation affects its answers? And I guess we should ask ChatGPT that sometime.
Well, it's been like I said, ChatGPT 4 is dated as of April 2023. Three. Thank
Right.
you. I have had it. I've asked it questions that were where the answers were past that date, and it went to Bing to get the answer. But
Uh-huh.
it doesn't seem to do that anymore, and I don't know why. What if and when there'll ever be a ChatGPT 5? I don't know. I don't know if even OpenAI knows.
Interesting.
I think OpenAI is mostly, I think, focused right now on robotics.
Programming.
Yeah. Oh, come on, Wardell. I don't know if you guys have seen. Okay. Let me show you something real quick. It's kind of YouTube.
What aspects of robotics does AI contribute the most to, or is especially helpful with?
I'll show you.
Okay, good. Is it programming?
Have you guys seen this video?
Go for it.
Share, send us the link.
Sorry, I muddied. It'll be in the presentation, Michelle.
Okay, alrighty. Excuse me.
What's a funny story about ham radio? This might be good for STEM. I wonder if kids are probably already playing with this. And
Kids are probably writing their papers with this now.
yes.
I mean, that's a real problem for teachers now. How do you identify whether it's original work or work done by ChatGPT? Teachers are taking classes on how to recognize the difference.
Yeah. Well, supposedly there's AI that can tell the difference between human and AI generated.
Well, they're trying to create that AI. That's true.
Yeah.
Because teachers are really worried about, being fooled.
Sure. So I sent the link to this video in the chat. If you haven't seen this video, you will want to welcome our future overlords after you see this video.
Yeah, I'll get the chat in there. North Georgia College suspended a student for using Grammarly. They didn't understand that it's not a
Oh, really?
thing for them. They just checked it.
Well, didn't Michael Cohen get in trouble with using some sort of a AI program for his legal response with the Trump
Well,
hoopla?
he must not have used a good one.
No, apparently the court caught him, and he didn't. And Cohen's response was he didn't know it was inaccurate.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You have to expect mistakes by the AI at this point in time.
Well, here's the thing. You can expect mistakes from humans too.
Yeah, but you know for a fact there's going to be, if it's a complicated issue, there's going to be some additives or filler information that AI's put in. Like
Yeah.
you said, it's very chatty.
Yeah.
Well, usually there's a disclaimer. I've used it a couple of times, and there's usually a disclaimer there before it starts to feed you stuff to tell you that it's not just to be careful with what you get.
Yeah. And that's at the bottom of this on ChatGPT. We can make mistakes.
I remember when it first came out, I was listening to a technical program, listening to Twit, and they said that they were talking about a paper that somebody wrote, and I think he was talking about give me the GDP of countries in Africa, and it did that. It gave them countries and GDPs, but not all the countries were in Africa. And he just, he said that's those are the kind of mistakes that it will make. But as a coder, I appreciate what it's doing. We look at it and go, gee, it won't do this. It's not complete here. It's not complete there. Well, I'm impressed by what it does do, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're trying to write a program with ChatGPT, you're going to learn as you do it more and more how to specify what you're looking for, because you're not going to get it in one command line here. If you keep it all in a token, it can remember each of your command lines and you can develop the code you want and you can direct it. So in a sense, to really do programming with ChatGPT accurately, you need to be a programmer to begin with and guide it. You're setting the spec each time you put in your command here.
Did you see what I just asked it to provide the most current and accurate GDP for countries in Africa? It says I'll need to fetch the latest data. So it went out and found a Wikipedia article and makes the record.
That's not intelligent. That's
Yeah,
but at least it knows it needs current information that is 2023 wouldn't be good enough.
Right.
At
least it made an attempt to look for real information.
Yeah.
Well, I put stuff in like for sports scores and it says I don't have current information, look somewhere else.
Right.
But, this is nice. Yeah. I put in what question can I ask ChatGPT and talked about philosophical issues, ask for movie recommendations, ask it to tell a joke. It's got all kinds of things that it says it'll do.
Oh, okay. Tell a joke about ham radio.
Here you go.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I get on a score of 1 to 10 about a 2.
Ask it who the second baseman is for the Atlanta Braves. Baseman. Yeah, baseman, not basement.
Oh.
Well, ask that too.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's like, oh, it translated.
Awesome. Oh, okay. That's pretty
right, Ed?
I don't know for sure. I think so. That's who it was last year, but I haven't been following this year. Unless they changed it, it would be him.
Well, here's a basic question. Ask it what was in the basement of Fulton County Stadium.
Oh, good stuff.
Some of you might know.
I know.
It was its parking lot for the players.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I thought they had a reserved lot. Oh, I'm thinking of Fulton County Stadium. They had a reserved lot behind the Fulton County Stadium.
No, Fulton County Stadium actually had players parked below. One time I accidentally went down there, and you know that ramp where the players come driving out from underneath Fulton County? I walked up that way to get out of there. And yeah, that's where I remember Deion Sanders' car with the neon lights coming out from underneath there.
I can only imagine what he drives.
It was sporty.
It fudged on the answer and said there's no publicized.
Yeah, so it's not known to the general public. Well, I'm not asking the general public.
I've got a basic question. Whenever I try to get to, no matter what I do to try to get to Chat GPT-4, I get 3.5.
Well, that's because ChatGPT 4 requires a $20 a month subscription.
Ah, okay.
That's one thing to talk about. What do you get when you do a subscription? As I understand it, if for ChatGPT, you get more tokens, which means you have more threads of questioning.
Correct. You also get DALL-E, browsing and analysis, but there are some usage limits. DALL-E being the image generator from text.
Oh, okay.
I did one where I asked it to do an ASCII graphic and it did it.
You asked it to do a what?
ASCII graphic, with uses like you do it on a typewriter. Remember typewriter?
Oh, yeah. Whew, let's see. That's a bit.
Here's a crazy question. Back in the 90s at Southern Poly, I did work with neural nets. Ask it, can you ask it what are the big differences between neural nets of the 90s compared to neural nets of today? Because I am curious on how they got so much smarter.
The difference is 30 years.
Yeah, but I'm talking about what is the functional difference? That you're still using layers?
Pentium 100 versus i9 4300.
They're profound.
Computational power
Yeah.
being one.
Right. I think there'll be more than one.
Yeah, it hasn't finished. It's thinking about it.
Yeah, there's no tensors back then. They didn't have deep learning, and
I heard they're working on what they call local, where it'll do the work on your computer without having to go to, to a central server. If you take advantage of the computer power that you have on your computer.
Broader technology advancements and a growing community of researchers and practitioners.
I think the big thing is that develop all these libraries like TensorFlow, PyTorch. There's so many more libraries, and the biggest thing of all is the big data, being able to consume huge, large amounts of data and training. Back then, when we do training, we might do sample sizes of pictures of maybe 150 to 300 pictures, where they may be using 10,000 pictures to do a comparison.
Yeah.
So deep data, or a lot of data, is a big part of it.
Yeah, exactly. And processing power, for example, an OpenAI's example being having access to Microsoft servers.
Yeah, our vision machine back then, we were operating with I think somewhere around a dual processor, 233 megahertz.
Yeah.
Compared to what we have today.
Right, exactly.
All right, so we're coming up on an hour and a half here. Let's don't wear the guy out. I'm not worried about wearing out the AI, but does anybody have any specific questions? Not questions to ask chat, but questions to ask our presenter. Anything at all?
Anything at all?
Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
This has been a really good
presentation.
presentation. It really has been, Wardell. It's not what I expected, but it was absolutely worth the time.
Okay.
So,
Well, I'm curious, what did you expect?
I expected some sort of in-depth digging around into the protocols and the algorithms and the ideas behind it. And I like the fact that you sort of did that, but you did it in the context of let's ask it a question and see what it does, and then talk about how it did it. And I like that.
You need some experience and training in data science to get down that deep.
Yeah, I have watched this technology creep along since I first got into IT back in '79, and
Yeah.
I heard for a long time it's 5 years away. It's 5 years away.
Yeah.
And as Lynn will tell you, I'm still a bit skeptical. I think well, I'm not going into that. This has been a really good presentation, and if anybody can think of any other questions, put them on the group, or maybe we can pass them on and get an answer for you later. And
Okay.
Rob will make sure that this gets posted. Wardell will make sure you either get a copy or get a link. Is that okay?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, you said you guys have your own YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we got videos back to September 2020.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's great.
And that was item 3 on that list of how to grow a club. So.
Okay. Social media. All right.
All
Okay,
right.
guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, guy. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
See you around the repeater.
All right.
Good night. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
2 o'clock.
7-3, everybody.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Good night.